There is a gorgeous NFT gallery as well in that room. I really encourage you to pop in. And if you're wondering right now, what is NFT? What is she talking about? The next panel. We're going to be exploring the New World Order, blockchain, NFT, and the Metaverse. And our moderator is Khurram Zafar. Please join me on stage. A big round of applause for Khurram. Your hands got that exercise, so you can clap now. Khurram is the managing partner of 47 Ventures Investments. He founded the Center of Entrepreneurship at LUMS and raised public funds to scale it into the National Incubation Center. Khurram will be speaking to Krinza Momin, a developer relations engineer at Anchor, hope I'm saying that right, which serves more than 50 blockchain networks globally. Salman Khan, who is the co-founder and chief growth officer of Zord, a Web3 R&D company. R&D, we need so much more of that in our Pakistani startups. Hamza Khan, growth manager, finance. Ayesha Mubarak Ali, who is a fusion tech artist and co-founder of Meta Visionaries. I guess her stuff is in the NFT gallery. And Ramish Safa, an artist, content creator, and a Web3 enthusiast, heavily invested in educating Pakistanis on Web3 and NFTs. Thank you. Over to you, Khurram.
It's an area that I don't understand really well, and this is a great opportunity to sit here, pretend to be dumb, and ask questions of the experts. I'm really looking forward to this. All my money, thank you. So I'm going to start with, earlier today, I had an opportunity to speak with a few young people here. And I just asked them what they understand about Web3, and a lot of them do not have a very good understanding of what Web3 is. So I figured we'll just start with the definition of Web3 because it means a lot of different things to different people. And this is an interesting name for the panel, New World Order. For those of you who know what the New World Order is or was, or the conspiracy theory, it was all about centralization, a secret totalitarian regime controlling the world. But my understanding is Web3 is actually the antithesis of that, right? So let's start with defining Web3, and as you do, maybe you can talk a bit about what is it that your businesses do in order to save time, and then we'll move on to our questions. So let's start with you, Hamza.
I think the narrative that we see right here for the Web3 space itself is the fact that a lot of people confuses Web3 with a technology, right? Web3 itself is not a technology, it's a representation of a time, of a decade. Just as we say that when the web pages were static, we called it a Web 1 era. And then when there was this boom of content creation and putting it out on internet, right? And then businesses making money off of them, that's the era which was basically considered as Web 2. But now we have entered in a digital age where there's some kind of, I think one of the things that you said very correctly is the term decentralization, which has been thrown around very often, but people don't understand what decentralized truly means, right? It means that the control and the power is distributed not just between the businesses and the monopoly creators, it's basically distributed among the creators and users as well. So it's a time where everyone and each one of us can make money off of our data that we have on internet.
So Salman, why is that important? I mean, why not just sit in Web 2.0, enjoy it, let Googles and Facebooks and Instagram sort of enjoy the monopoly? Why make it decentralized and give everybody an opportunity to be part of that?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. The thing is that in Web 2, when we talk about Web 2, the problem is that the companies, I would not like to name them, you already know, the platforms that we use daily. So the problem is we have given them a huge control over the data. They can monetize as much as they want. They can put up any policy that they want, and we cannot own that piece. The contribution that we are giving onto those platforms, we cannot own them directly. For example, if you have followers on Twitter, right? So if someday Twitter bans your account, or if someday you plan to move outside of Twitter or select another platform for you. So you cannot take your followers over there, right? So that is a contribution that you have made over there, but you don't own that. So that is the reason Web3 is important. And according to me, we say that Web3 is generally, basically, is a movement to decentralize the internet. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a success story in the Web3 space, or do you think it's going to take a long time to get there where it's as pervasive as Web 2.0 is?
We're already seeing really, successful stories here. I think most of the panelists here are success stories, I think, in the Web3 space. The space, however nascent, right, it has seen real-life use cases from, healthcare in Estonia to retail transactions, payments that are instantaneous, less than 0.01 USD, right? Many, many successful use cases. Of course, overnight millionaires and Lamborghinis are on your feeds everywhere. But that's not the real success use case, right? We're talking about an industry or an ecosystem that is extremely forward-looking and has the power to actually harness what Web 2 was made for, right? Web 2 is basically where we understood the power of the web, and Web 3 is where we take that power back to an individual level and make everyone an equal participant in the system. There's no censorship, everything's censorship resistant. There's no centralized party owning what you do, what you don't, right? And at the end of the day, that success story means, differently for everyone. For a country, it might mean, again, having NICs on the blockchain that's immutable. For an individual, it might mean making a lot of money in the space, taking advantage of that infancy. And for a community, it might mean hanging out with the right people, sharing ideas. And all of that today is already being implemented, and in the next 5 to 20 years is here to stay, is what we believe.
Okay, great. I'm going to continue to pretend to be dumb and ask some, silly questions. So in a Web 2.0 space, so you have a platform creator like Facebook, and then you have content creators who create content, and together they create value for the users and participants in that network, right? In the case of Web 3, I understand, the ask from the content creators that they want to be in more control of their content. But who is controlling or managing the platform? Where does that content go? Or is this like a portable thing that you create and own, and then you can take it to whatever platform that you like? And is there a service or platform out there that does that? So in another word, isn't the platform still important in Web 3.0?
Yeah, so I think the platform is hugely important, and because today there are a lot of them, and one should do a good amount of R&D before you decide that what is the best platform for you. Because if you're an artist and you're doing some individual one-of-one edition pieces, and I know a lot of artists who would like to do that, then I think platforms like Foundation is where you should go. I mean, that's a personal choice that I would do, right? But if you're involved in community projects where you have other co-founders, there is more than one angle to what you're doing, and art is just one of them, right? Because we're talking about content creators, so I'm just talking from the content point. So I would say you should choose a platform, one, which is sustainable in the long run, because you have to think about the carbon footprint, you have to think about whether what the team is saying regarding the platform is actually what's happening. Again, coming back to the idea of the research. And I think when we say that, then Polygon or Tezos is something that you would go to, right? But again, because of the things that are happening, things are changing, there's a lot of adaptation, there's proof of stake, proof of earning, and then play to earn models. There are a lot of different models nowadays. You can do your own research about it. But again, you have to do your due diligence and see the team, and then see if you want to proceed as an individual content creator, or you would like to make a project out of it, right? With a lot of other co-founders. So that's something that I think is.
So these platforms that you named, who develops, controls them in Web 3.0? Yeah, that's a question for you.
I would actually like to go back to your initial question where you said, centralized or decentralized kya baat kar rahe the. I feel like Web3 right now is primarily a concept. Execution point of view, say we're not really there. And the problem with decentralization is that nobody really knows how far it goes, right? So all these platforms that we're talking about, they're still very, very centralized. So if, let's say, for example, you want to launch an NFT project, right? You start from Twitter, okay? You go on Discord to build your community, and then you launch that NFT collection on a platform called OpenSea or X2Y2 or Magic Eden, which again are still very, very centralized organizations and platforms. I think right now the definition of Web3 is very, very open-ended, and I think everybody has their own interpretation of that. Very, very subjective, but I think khula maidan hai, you know, and everyone's excited to just see where it goes and just how far they can push whatever creative abilities they're getting their hands on. I would want to say that Web3 in general has given a lot of room for artists to shine because pehle jo gatekeepers the, you know, if you wanted to be an artist, you had to go to an art gallery. वहाँ पे कोई curator होता था, आपकी से अच्छी दोस्ती होती थी, तो आप probably art लगाएंगे, वरना शायद नहीं लगा सकें. Me being an NFT artist, for example, I can just make whatever I want and just post it on the internet and just try to find my own community. And if the community is there, they'll rally behind me, and there it is. My art is sold, I've made money, now I can start doing whatever I want. I think right now, the most exciting thing about Web3 is that it's given people a lot of control to make money. And no matter aap kis angle se usko dekhen, ultimately, that's what everyone's about right now.
Are people making money?
Sorry?
Are people making money?
Yeah,
Really?
lots of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, my community, my small Discord group made $7 million last year. Pakistani kids, 12 saal ke. So,
Awesome.
yeah, maybe everyone should reconsider everything they're doing right now.
That's wonderful. That's great to
Yeah.
know. And so people pay to own this content that you're creating. Is that true?
Artworks, content, rights to a pass, a utility, anything. It could literally be anything. I can just put up like, there was this project in Indonesia of a guy that took selfies of himself for I think 3 years, sold out. There's no utility, it's meme content. And we also have to understand, एक चीज़ जो बड़ी ज़रूरी है बताना वो ये कि Web3 is driven right now primarily by meme content. You know, if people find it funny, they'll put money into it. There's no reasoning behind. I mean, obviously there are places where reasoning hai, but most of us are young people, and if something's funny, yeah, I'll buy it. If it's like $500 makes me laugh, I'll do it.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you said right now we're at a very early stage, and everybody sort of is sort of charting the course and trying to sort of you know, make it a reality. Fast forward 3 or 4 years, what's a good as a content creator? What's a nirvana with Web 3.0? What is it that you would like to see in Web 3.0 that'll make you happy as a content creator?
You want me to take that?
Good.
I feel like I'm in a very good place right now as a as a content creator. One, because we're so early. We have that competitive advantage over everybody else who comes probably next year or 2 years down the road, right? Two, because everybody wants to learn. They want to look at figures jo value de saken. So again, if I wanted to create content on YouTube right now, which I already do, it's very, very saturated. Instagram, you go on Instagram, Instagram is like, okay, no more photos, reels, and then everybody's just posting random stuff, and the algods are just pushing that. So artistry or creativity is just like, acha, aap side pe baithe, ab robots kaam karenge. Here, it's like, wo abhi, like I said, maidan abhi bhi khula hua hai. So I actually feel like, main agar 5 saal pehle YouTube par, ya 10 saal pehle, if I was thinking of making YouTube content, Web3 content right now for me is like that. Super early, very pure communities, not a lot of noise, and I feel like I can get a lot of edge right now. 3 saal baad, maybe it'll be cluttered as well.
And Salman, maybe a question for you. Is there opportunity just for content creators, artists, or is there an opportunity for developers as well?
Yeah, it is a huge opportunity for not only developers, but entrepreneurs as well. So yesterday, NASCOM, which is a similar organization like Pasha that we have in Pakistan. So they have released a report, which is very interesting to see. So there are currently 450 Web3 startups that are working in India, right? And out of four of them are unicorn companies. So we are just talking about the definitions of Web3 here, right? And we can learn from the neighbor country as well on that. And also, if we talk about India, they are the third largest country that is contributing to the total Web3 talent of the whole world. And they have a talent pool which consists of more than 75,000 people. So you see, and that includes not only the developers, but marketeers, designers, business devrel. We have so many roles. In fact, any role that you do in Web3, you can do in Web2, you can do in Web3 as well. So these are some huge opportunities, and the pay grade are huge. Plus, you get to work in a remote manner. So Krinza can confirm to that Web3 companies are super compatible with remote working. The culture is good. The compensations are really huge if you compare it from the Web2 jobs.
Okay. Krinza, can you talk a bit about the opportunity and maybe advice for some of the young kids?
Yeah, I mean, just raise your hand if you're a developer. Okay, a lot of them. I think one of the things or one of the narratives that I've seen in the space is that young talent come, like even if you are like fresh grad, like I've been getting a lot of questions from here as well, and they're like, how do we enter into the Web3 space, into the Web3 workforce, right? And I asked them, like the first question I asked them is like, are you a developer or do you even have like any kind of traditional tech background? If the answer is yes, then the second question I asked them is, are you a good developer? Like, can you code and can you like create front end, right? Can you create like normal softwares and applications? Again, if the answer is yes, then just know that if you're a good like Web2 developer, you are already a very good Web3 developer, right? Now, what we have to do as students or as professionals in the Web2 space at this point is we have to explore the realm of Web3 workspace as well. So again, like I want to reiterate what I said. So front end, like the front end role is exactly the same for Web3 industry as well. It's just you have to like approach your hiring funnel in the global market and make sure that you are looking for companies that are again like remote first, and then they want to hire like front-end developers maybe. And so the focus for a developers or any talent that might be present here should be to look for companies abroad, just because they are still hiring for front-end developers. Again, front-end is like basic technology tech stack. Like it has nothing to do with blockchain, it has nothing to do with Web3, it has nothing to do with crypto at all, and you'll still get like the raise very high. Like you are going to get paid in US range, which starts like again, like just for you to be able to negotiate your salary, the base salary starts from 100K USD per year. That's it. And a lot of people are working in this ecosystem.
You are still doing it on React.js, right?
I am still working on React. I'm using Java. Like I'm literally working on the same tech stack. It's just I have explored a lot of other technologies, such as Solidity. Like if you know Java, Solidity is going to be like super easy for you. And again, when we talk about smart contracts, you might have heard about this term, right? Smart contracts are super easy to build because we have no-code tools available. So the entire Web3 space is like the founders, the startups are like more focused of providing developers with ease of creation, right? So we have a lot of no-code tools, so you don't even have to worry about the technicalities. Even like at Anchor, we are building like APIs for you, like NFT APIs, query APIs, token APIs, because querying data from blockchain, it's so hard. Because every time you make a transaction, the transaction gets replicated to each block, like starting from the Genesis block, right? So fetching data is hard. And so these are the companies, like there are Web3 native companies who are providing you with such services and products. So as a developer, it's going to make your life so much easier. We have React hooks. You will find like literally integration of the wallet itself. So there's like a kit Rainbow Kit, which makes it super easy. So just explore your way. I think just make use of the online information and education that's available, and like don't wait to like for someone to give you a roadmap, because at this point, again, like what Ramish said, that it's a playground right now. So just go out there, like explore things, create your first MetaMask account, right? Even if you are like a student, make sure like instead of going out with friends, like do that for sure, but like you can save like even 100 rupees, or like by the end of the entire year, you can save like 10K, right? Invest in crypto, not just to like earn money or get rich, invest in crypto.
This is not financial advice, by the way.
This is not at all financial advice. But I'm saying that once you get into this entire ecosystem, you get like a lot of insight, and that makes you grow. So once you are in crypto space, you realize that all of these tokens that are listed on Binance, it's nothing, but it's a utility token, which is basically digital currencies. So for you to be able to acquire, use Anchor products and services, you have to buy Anchor tokens to get it. That's the only utility we provide, or any other token provide, right? So if you think that acquiring crypto is going to make you rich, that's like rarely happens. I mean, a lot of cases you might have seen, but that's literally like, it's like the scope is like this small.
So Hamza,
So one thing I would like to tell that crypto can make you millionaire, only if you are a billionaire.
Exactly, that's the point.
is that true, Hamza? Do you agree?
Honestly,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a get-rich-quick scheme, right? It's the beauty of crypto or blockchain is that when you're looking into the code, when you're looking into what is foundational, right? You're looking at a zero-sum game. Most of your applications work on a zero-sum game. Most of your financial and economics within this space works on a zero-sum game. There will be winners, there will be losers, right? It's not, okay, पैसा डबल हो जाएगा कल ऐसा. It's not like that.
यार होता तो है.
होता यार आपने किए हैं तो अब हमारे नहीं बने, अब हमारे बनेंगे तो बताएंगे. No financial advice again. So the space itself is, the beauty of the space right now is that it's nascent, and that infancy right now can be exploited in a variety of ways. You can create amazing projects. You can be a 12-year-old who has $1 million in revenue from an NFT collection, right? Or you could just come into it for the fun of it. You could just join a community. With Web3, I think it's imperative to understand, and for those that game here, right? You asked a question about platform agnostic, right? Why is a platform important? A platform is not necessarily important. Web3 is the only space where you could play a game like Fortnite, have a gun or a skin there, and have the same characteristics of the object within another ecosystem, right? That is the beauty of it. You couldn't have it transferable except for the visual assets itself. You can now have the utility with it. And that's just one of the key points, right? You can have NFT-backed DeFi ecosystems. You can have securities. You can have interest-bearing NFTs. You can have fractional NFTs, right? I think you're working on that. So there's real estate, right? There's a lot of applications within the space. Again, infancy bears fruit. For you, it might be different. It might be money. For others, it might be, a good community.
Okay. Let's, I want to touch upon the topic of communities. And everything I've read or listened to about Web 3.0 and NFTs and the like, and maybe Ayesha, this is a question for you. I've seen that communities and their loyalty to that brand or artist or creator has been very important. Are they good examples of communities that evolved out of Pakistan for Pakistani creators?
Yeah, so I think community building is actually the most important thing when it comes to NFTs or any kind of project that is new. Because for a technology to be widely understood, you have to first start the awareness, and that can only happen when you're really a community builder. And I have actually two experiences going hand in hand. Because one project that I'm working on, it's Meta Visionaries, right? So there you have people coming from NASA, people coming from Blue Origin, and these are the people who already have a very specific community of space sciences, education, And then you can link them with people from interdisciplinary studies, right? And then you create an NFT that represents it. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, yes, the artwork is beautiful, but what we are trying to understand at the moment is a wider definition of an NFT itself. And that can only happen when you are including a more wider range of community, people who can, feel that it's relevant to them. And that's why I just gave the example of Meta Visionaries, because there the people are not just from the space background, there are people coming from music background. Like we are working on with singers and stuff like that. And on the other hand, there is another case study which I can actually talk about here, is that if you're someone who has a vision and you have a very, set direction in art, like if someone is an artist, a fashion designer, and you want to transition, right? So what should be your approach? Because obviously community doesn't happen in a day, and that's something that people need to understand. So फिर आप क्या कर सकते हैं कि you can work the other way around. You can actually give the idea first, make your page, what Krinza just said, कि आप उसका पूरा front end, back end पूरा develop करें, and then you bring in the people. And that's what I'm actually doing with Oshi Brownie and Phygital Fashion NFTs, right? So there are two approaches. You can choose one of them and you can just start. It's nothing new. It's nothing that's a hype, because that's what people call it. Okay, Web3 is a hype. But no, it's not a hype. This is what people actually said to the internet itself when it came, right?
Somebody's coming to kill me. Is the time up?
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I just want to thank all of you for very insightful discussion. This is a topic that is very new, very nascent, and lots of confusion about it. And it's always great to talk about experts who understand the space really well. And I hope this was useful to the audience as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Khurram.